better. You can't be driven if you don't know where you're going. Life has a funny way of keeping us busy, but business is not the same as progress. Better. Many people wake up early, rush through the day, fill their schedules, and still end the week feeling empty, not because they lack effort, better, but because they lack direction. Drive without direction is like stepping on the gas in a car without a map. It only makes you tired, not closer to where you should be. Better. Success begins with clarity. You must decide where you want to go before you can move with purpose. A clear destination gives meaning to discipline. Better. And discipline becomes easier when the reason is strong enough. Even the smallest steps feel powerful when they are connected to a bigger vision. And yes, better. You can adjust your route, you can take detours, but the key is to never lose sight of where you're heading. Without vision, energy gets wasted. With vision, better, effort multiplies. If you want to live with drive, first create the picture of the life you want. Otherwise, you risk being busy without ever arriving. Direction first, better. Drive second. That's how you build a meaningful life. Drive without direction is one of the greatest traps a person can fall into. You see, better. Energy alone is not enough. Ambition by itself is not enough. If you don't have a map, your drive will only spin you in circles. Better. Imagine a ship with full sails but no compass. It will drift endlessly, carried by the winds, but never arrive anywhere meaningful. That's the way many people live. Better. They wake up each morning with energy but no clear aim, and so their efforts scatter like seeds thrown on the pavement. To be effective, better, ambition must be linked to a plan, to a vision that guides the steps. It's not about how fast you're moving, better. It's about whether you're moving in the right direction. A small, steady step in the right direction will always beat running full speed in the wrong one. Better. True drive comes from knowing not just what you're running from, but what you're running toward. When your goals are written, when your destination is clear, better, you won't just be busy, you'll be productive. That's the difference between drifting and driving. Better. A clear map turns ordinary effort into a powerful force that carries you exactly where you want to be. The danger of business is that it tricks you into believing you're making progress when in reality, better, you might just be running in place. Many people mistake activity for achievement. They keep themselves occupied with endless tasks, rushing from one thing to the next, better, filling every hour with noise. But if you stop and ask them where it's all leading, they can't give you a clear answer. Better. That's the tragedy. Energy spent without a destination. Think of someone on a treadmill sweating, pushing, working hard, but never moving forward. Better. That's what life looks like when you don't know where you're going. Being busy isn't the same as being productive. Better. What matters is whether your actions connect to your vision, whether today's work brings you closer to tomorrow's dream. If your direction is clear, better. Even a single focused hour can be worth more than a week of scattered effort. And if your direction is missing, no amount of drive will bring fulfillment. Don't just ask, what am I doing? Ask, why am I doing it? Better. And where is it taking me? The right answer to that question is what separates meaningful progress from empty business. Vision has a power that simple willpower can never match. Better. When you know exactly where you're going, you don't always need to push yourself. Your vision will start pulling you forward. Better. It's the difference between dragging your feet up a hill and being drawn toward a destination that excites you. When the picture in your mind is clear, better, energy comes naturally. You wake up with purpose, and even on the hard days, you have a reason to keep moving. People who lack vision often burn out. Better, because every step feels heavy and forced. But people with vision endure struggles, setbacks, and obstacles because they see beyond the moment. Better. Vision gives meaning to the grind, and it transforms discipline into something almost effortless. It's like a magnet. It doesn't demand, it attracts. Better. That's why the most driven individuals are often not the ones with the greatest energy, but the ones with the clearest destination. Better. A clear picture of the future provides the strength to keep going when circumstances get rough. Without vision, effort feels like a burden. With vision, better, effort feels like investment. If you want your drive to last, don't focus only on your energy. Focus first on the clarity of your vision. Decide before you act. Better, because decision is what creates direction. Without decision, your energy is scattered, and scattered energy never builds momentum. Too many people hesitate. Better, waiting for perfect timing, waiting for every answer, waiting until they feel ready. But indecision is the thief of drive. The moment you make a firm decision, better, something shifts inside, you create a target, and the mind begins to organize itself around it. Even if you don't yet know every step, better, the decision itself becomes a compass. It gives you permission to stop wandering and start walking. Better, action without decision is like swinging a hammer in the dark. Plenty of effort, little result. But action rooted in decision has focus. Better, and focus is what multiplies progress. Don't worry if you need to adjust the plan later. What matters is that you've chosen a direction, and a poor plan firmly decided on is still better than no plan at all. Life responds to boldness. Better, the drive you seek doesn't come from motion alone. It comes from a decision that defines your motion. Decide first, act second. Better, and the energy you've been searching for will follow naturally. The tragedy of drifting is that it feels comfortable while it quietly steals your potential. Better, a person can drift through years, even decades, without realizing how far they've drifted from their true calling. Better, drifting doesn't require effort. You simply let life happen to you, going wherever the current takes you. And at first it feels easy, even pleasant. Better, but the danger is that without a chosen direction, you end up living someone else's script instead of writing your own. Better, too many people reach the middle of their lives only to look back and wonder, how did I get here? The answer is simple. They never chose, they only drifted. Better, drive without destination is no better than floating without a compass. Fulfillment doesn't come from motion, it comes from meaning. Better, and meaning only comes when you know where you're heading. Don't wait for life to decide for you. Drifting will cost you the one resource you can never get back. Better, time. Choose now, because the sooner you set your direction, the sooner your drive begins to matter. Without direction, years slip away. With direction, better. Every step builds a life you can be proud of. Write it down. There is a certain magic that happens when a goal leaves your imagination and lands on paper. Better. Thoughts are invisible, they come and go, but writing makes them solid. A written goal is like a contract with yourself. It declares, better, this is where I'm going. Too many people keep their dreams vague, floating in their minds, and because they are vague, they never take shape. Better. But once you write it down, the mind begins to focus, the steps begin to reveal themselves, and the drive has something to attach to. A goal on paper is no longer just a wish, it becomes a plan in progress. Even if you start small, the act of writing builds clarity, and clarity builds confidence. Better, you can review it, refine it, measure it, and most importantly, remind yourself of it when times get tough. Written goals act like a compass when you feel lost. Better, guiding you back to your path. Don't underestimate the power of pen and paper. The act may seem simple, better, but it is often the dividing line between people who wander and people who achieve. A goal written is a future claimed. Small steps matter more than most people realize. Better, we often think that only big leaps create progress, but the truth is direction is confirmed by movement, no matter how small. Better, a single step taken in the right direction is worth more than 100 steps taken with no purpose. The key is not speed, but alignment. Better, each small action you take toward your goal becomes proof to yourself that you're moving forward. And that proof builds confidence. Better, too many people get discouraged because they want results instantly, forgetting that even the tallest buildings rise brick by brick. Better, success is rarely built in one giant effort. It is shaped by consistent steps that accumulate over time. Small progress is still progress, and when repeated, better, it creates momentum. Momentum then creates drive, and drive sustains you through the challenges. Never underestimate the power of small, consistent effort. Better, it is the quiet force that turns visions into reality. Every step you take, no matter how small, says to life, better, I'm serious about where I'm going. And life responds to that seriousness by opening the next door. Discipline follows clarity. Better, when you know exactly where you're going, self-control no longer feels like punishment. It feels like alignment. Think about it better. It's not hard to wake up early if you know you're working toward a dream that excites you. Better. It's not difficult to say no to distractions if you've already said yes to a bigger vision. Better. People often struggle with discipline because they haven't defined what they truly want. Without clarity, discipline feels forced. Better. Like dragging yourself uphill without knowing what's at the top. But when the destination is clear, discipline becomes natural, even energizing. Better. Because every action connects directly to the picture you're building. Clarity sharpens your choices. Better. It turns I have to into I want to. It transforms sacrifice into investment. And the stronger your clarity, the stronger your discipline becomes. Better. If you're struggling to stay consistent, don't blame your willpower. Check your vision. The clearer the destination, the easier it is to stay on track. Better. Discipline is never just about toughness. It's about purpose. And when your purpose is defined, better. Discipline stops being a burden and starts becoming your greatest ally. Purpose transforms energy. Better. When you live with a clear sense of why, the ordinary becomes extraordinary. The same hours, the same work. Better. The same effort. Suddenly they all carry deeper meaning. A person without purpose may give up after the first setback. Better. But a person with purpose can endure storm after storm because they know what they're fighting for. Better. Purpose is the fuel that turns simple effort into lasting persistence. It takes a tired body and gives it strength. It takes a weary mind and gives it hope. Better. That's why two people can face the same challenge, yet one quits while the other pushes through. The difference is purpose. Better. Purpose adds weight to every choice and multiplies the value of every action. When you are clear about your purpose, even struggle feels like part of the plan. Better. Not an interruption. Drive without purpose fades quickly, but drive with purpose grows stronger with time. Don't just work hard. Work with meaning. Better. When your energy is tied to something bigger than yourself, you become unstoppable. Purpose doesn't just guide your effort, it elevates it. Better. Transforming what you do into something that matters far beyond the moment. Adjust, but don't abandon. Better. Life will never give you a perfectly straight road to your destination. There will be detours, setbacks, delays, and unexpected turns. Better. That's not failure, that's the journey. The danger is that, when the road gets rough, many people abandon the destination altogether. Better. They confuse a change in route with a change in vision. But if the destination is clear, you can bend without breaking, you can adjust without losing. Better. Think of an airplane, it rarely flies in a perfectly straight line. Wind pushes it off course again and again. Better. But the pilot keeps adjusting until the plane lands exactly where it was meant to. That's how life works. You will need to shift plans. Better. Maybe even start over in some areas, but never abandon the picture of where you want to be. Flexibility is a strength, but quitting is a tragedy. The road may be long. Better. But if the destination is strong in your mind, you'll find a way. Remember, obstacles are not signals to stop. They are signals to grow. Adjust the method. Better. Adjust the timeline, but keep the vision alive. The moment you abandon the goal, all drive is lost. Legacy thinking gives direction a deeper meaning. Better. It's not just about reaching goals for yourself. It's about asking what your journey will leave behind for others. When you think only in terms of personal success, better. Drive can fade once comfort is achieved. But when you think in terms of legacy, your drive stays alive, because the purpose is larger than your own life. Better. Legacy thinking asks, what will people remember because I was here? Better. What seeds will I plant that others can harvest? This kind of vision gives weight to your choices. It makes you careful with your time. Better. And it helps you endure challenges with a sense of responsibility. A legacy doesn't always mean something massive. Sometimes it's the lives you touched. Better. The example you set, the values you stood for. But without clear direction, legacy is impossible, because you can't leave behind what you never built. Better. Legacy keeps you from drifting. It demands clarity, consistency, and purpose. And it transforms your drive into something timeless. When you live with legacy in mind, better. You're no longer just moving for today. You're building for tomorrow. That's when your direction truly becomes powerful, because it outlives you.